Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
It's been such a long time since we recorded the previous episode
In English.
in English. That was beginning of April? Or, no, right after the April. Right after the triathlon.
So it has been for
3 months. Around 3 months.
Oh, dude.
Whose
fault? Whose fault is it?
Your fault. No. We've been quite busy, and our schedule was quite hectic, and we're sorry for not being able to be present on this project, but it is what
no
it is.
worries.
And we were also sick
continue.
too. Yeah, we were also sick too. So
Yeah, but it will continue forever.
yeah,
Almost forever.
almost forever.
So don't worry. This show's never going to be end.
Yeah.
So just stay tuned.
Yeah. How are you, man? Like how have you been for the past few months?
Since April.
Yeah.
I have been doing good.
Yeah.
Easy. I don't remember what I did.
We worked together.
Oh, yes.
There was
in May there was international track and field competitions, and there were many track stars coming from overseas.
Number one
Sprinter,
world champion,
the world champion.
Yeah.
And I happen to know the agent.
Yeah.
I mean, he's my boss, and my father's kind of best friend.
Yeah.
So I got a phone call from him, or a message from him.
Yeah.
And then he was basically asking like if I know someone who can shoot the content of the athlete.
Yeah.
And of course I know, and I told him I know that that's a great guy, and then friends.
Yeah.
And so we decided to shoot the contents of the athlete. So when he was in Japan for almost a week, basically we followed him and then took content. That was a great experience.
Yeah. It was especially like on that level. I have never actually filmed someone, especially like the world champion
And gold medalist
in Olympics for the past few times, and seeing him, preparing for the race, he has like a different aura.
Yeah,
he
was
has
in
like zone, and he doesn't do even if when he practiced, he wasn't basically putting like 100%. Always stick with the basic practice.
Basic, and it's like kind of step by step things.
Yeah,
he was building kind of movement.
Yeah,
towards his maximum performance, but he's never run 100%.
Yeah, he has his own routine, of course, but he stick with those like a basic stuff, and he basically like prioritize like going back to kind of like a square one, like a basic stuff the whole time. So it kind of like gave me an inspiration a little bit, because I always care about the time when I practice. I always care about
how much you put the effort.
Yeah, how much I put the effort. I mean, I guess like I always put like the best effort whenever I can.
Yeah.
But I tend to be obsessed with the time. I tend to be obsessed with the progress, right?
Yeah.
But then since I filmed him, I kind of like stopped caring about the time.
Yeah.
And then try to be more caring for the, let's say, the forms, the basic forms, or the breathing techniques and everything. It's all those like basic stuff I start be caring more during the practice. So that's and then that actually giving me a lot of good process or progress.
So some top athletes, of course the time is kind of one important indicator. But some top athletes rather care how they move, how they perform, in terms of the movement. Right? Because sometimes, time indicates your conditions. But let's say your technique and skill, condition, everything is good. But sometimes time doesn't follow. And then vice versa. If time is good, indicating good, but then like your process, this movement and technique, everything is apart from that. I mean, it's not like, good level.
Yeah.
And once you get into the race, you don't have the skill, you don't have the technique, and then you never get the time. That's what I learned from working with top athletes.
Yeah.
They care about more process and techniques and skill. Of course, time sometimes important, but they have the balance. So I think from our point of view as a how can I say, just normal runner, we're not like top elite athlete. It's a nice kind of perspective to learn. Yes, time is important, but let's focus on the process. Let's focus on the technique and skill. And then once we get into the Ironman race, we can just perform.
Yeah. I mean, I really was inspired by his determination for what he wants to do. He would stick with basically like the same things over and over and over again until like he gets it. And like it's also like that kind of thing or mentality can also apply for our daily life. For example, like you have so many things to do like in a day, and you have no motivation. Back to the basic. You do whatever you can, right? So the reason why I'm telling you this is because for the past few months it's been like very hard for me.
In terms of what?
Like mental in terms of my mental stability. It was just very hard. One of the reasons is because I was way too busy. And then I couldn't really control like how I feel. I was probably mentally exhausted.
You couldn't breathe.
I couldn't breathe, and of course financially it was. It's not like I'm quite privileged to be able to work for a lot of different projects, but at the same time, like you also have to kind of spend a lot of money to travel. Of course, I get it back in the later, but then like the time,
freelance world, you have to juggle. Payment is like 2 months later,
or a few months later,
new expense and
and then I have to deal with a lot of the revisions, which is of course I accept it, but at the same time, like mentally, tiring, again, and so I couldn't properly breathe like for the past few months.
I could tell by receiving some random message. You were kind of like off, and then I could tell, this guy is trying to create the balance between like
not even like like when we are trying to like make a balance, like we always say something really silly or stupid, right?
But then I show the message to anybody.
but it's quite horrible.
It's funny. But sometimes like I think I'm laughing and smiling by looking at my phone, and that's you. And somebody's gonna say like,
we're like 36, 37, but like
on the train, probably like somebody's thinking, why this guy's smiling or laughing.
So like it's been quite tough for me, especially I wasn't able to like kind of like release my stress, and always the stress is always like somewhere in my head, and like I've been injured for like my neck for a long time, so I couldn't really properly train. So like every morning I'm scared of like, okay, is the pain still there, or and always every morning. So start the day with the thought or worry like if I have still pain, and if I'm in pain still, is not a great way to start a day, you know. So that's that it's been like that for the past few months, and then every time I went to the gym, I start with like
rowing
and stretching, and also pre-workout, which is like a rowing, and I always think about you.
Thank you.
Okay, why does Yuta always like run further? Never get tired.
Like a Forrest Gump.
Yeah, Forrest Gump. He like, I don't really see him, being tired. Of course, like you get tired, but then you just keep going. So I always kind of wonder like the reason why you can keep going further and further. And then I think I texted you a few times, and
why you were
why are you the way you are?
Why you were running toward the goal all the time.
And then he explained a little bit like a reason, like right after I texted him. But then like a few days after, he texted me in a very random occasion, and you told me about like you started having a conversations with the AI, and then you basically did the analysis on yourself. Could you explain like what you actually talked?
I get this kind of question all the time. Actually, many times. Why you are running? Why you have always motivation? High motivation and maintain, motivation. That motivation. So I was like, I don't know why, but then started to think. And then I decided to kind of go back my childhood, from childhood to present, like now. In my life, what kind of success I had, or what kind of moment I was doing good, I was performing good. I started to analyze, and then more, seeing that moment from high level, I realized, I can tag some, key component or concept. So for example, when I was elementary school, I started to practice or wake up very early morning to become the relay member in the school, undokai, I don't know, like sports festival. And it's kind of privilege to be the relay member, right?
Kind of like a representative of the class.
For runners,
you get all the attention.
Can be selected. And I was like 2 or 3, and I was not sure if I can get selected. So I started to wake up in the morning
early,
and I started to practice. Then I got the spot, and also like playing for the soccer team, I was on the bench first. I started to practice. So those kind of things, until high school, university, and then now, how I achieved even small things, and then what is the common thing that I can probably say. Then I realized I had a good motivation, and then I took actions, and I kept effort. Basically consistency was there. So it sounds super simple, and everybody kind of understands it, understand the concept. But then I was like, okay, I had always great motivation. I took actions, and I maintained the work, kept the consistency. Why was that? And that was a question, and started to chat with the chat GPT. And then I realized, okay, I have a high motivation, but I have never used the motivation to make the action. For me, taking actions, no matter what, small things or whatever, that's the default. Then after you once you make actions, you put the motivation on the action, and then keep going. So if you consume your motivation, I'm using consciously consume the word consume, you consume the motivation to move or to make actions, and then done. But it's gone, right? But then if you're taking actions is default, then you can take actions. After that, you use that motivation to maintain the work or performance. So that was kind of my findings. Many people use the motivation first to move, to take actions, and then there's no energy to maintain that actions or work. But what I do is basically first of all, you decide what mountain you climb, which direction you step forward, basically. And once you have the mountain or the goal, then you take small actions, whatever. And after that, you put the motivation. So this is basically the simple version of the concept or my findings. So I'm gonna share some example to make it easier to understand. So I have a couple experience. So when I was in the US, I was hired by sports marketing agency, and my job was to get the sponsor for event. But I didn't get any sponsor, and I was not contributing to the company. And then one day I decided to go to New York weekend, Saturday or Sunday. And before that, I was contacting some alumni of my university in US. They work for some brands or agencies. So I contacted, hey, my name is Yuta. I graduated from University of San Francisco. My university, I work for this marketing agency. I have the event that I want to discuss. Yeah. And can I have 5 minutes or something like that? And I sent lots of messages, and I had 2 or 3, I think, appointments. Then went to New York by taking a train, Amtrak. 3 or 4 hours, something like that, from Boston. And I paid that train, the hotel, everything by myself because I wanted to get the sponsorship. So that's kind of my way. You make actions because you wanted to contribute to the company. And I took actions. And then in order to get the sponsors, you need the motivation. So I took actions, and then I started to contact the people and went to New York and started to discuss. So those kind of motivation is basically putting motivation, that motivation after I made a move. So this kind of situation makes difference. Another example, I went to New York again from when I was at the Google. I went to New York to meet some super executives in the US. She used to be the senior VP of ESPN. I met her in US Olympic Committee leadership program. And then we kept in touch. So I went there to meet her, and it basically told her that we as a Google, we want to invite her to our sporting executive, event. But I didn't have any conversation. I didn't have the approval from the company. But I decided to go by paying the ticket, and I met her and I offered her, this is what I'm thinking. Can you come? And she said yes. Okay. And then, but she's super executive, so she's not gonna come for just one event in Japan. So she decided to travel, across the Asia with her nephew. Of course, as a company, that kind of things you cannot cover or pay, right? And even when I met her, I didn't have the approval, but I just went ahead and then told her please come. I basically offered her, and I in my thinking, I thought, okay, I will offer this event speaker spot, and if I have to pay, if I have to cover the hotel and flight, and I will do that. But then after that, coming back to Japan, I explained to my boss, I offered this, and then if company's not gonna pay for her business class flight and hotel, I'm okay to cover by myself. But I think this is very important for the company to have that level of the executive speaker, and that will contribute to Japan as a company. I mean, Olympic is big, and then this kind of she's a really expert of the diversity inclusion. So at that time, Japan needed the topic, and Olympic can be the how can I say, the catalyst. So my boss was, fortunately I had a great boss. And he said, "Oh, don't worry, we will cover." But then it turned out she invited the nephew. So of course I couldn't tell my boss, actually she's bringing a nephew. So then I kind of took care of that and that part. And then since then we have been talking. I mean, since even before, but we are talking. We kept in touch, and now still she's my friend. She's my mentor. So what I want to say is, take the actions first, and then put the motivation. Those kind of things make a difference and elevate your work and performance. So that's what I sent to you. Any small action, just take it, and then put the motivation. Yeah, mental.
The motivation comes after.
Yes.
I think that's quite a story that you actually just shared, because I guess a lot of people, including myself, tend to think that we need motivation to do something, so make actions, right? We need, I guess, but we, at the same time, I also think that we kind of misunderstand the context. We probably need direction first. But then we always think we need motivation to make directions or create directions. But that's different. You already have directions. You have to kind of make it clear what direction that you want to go. Then you make action. Make an action, and then motivation comes. Maybe I guess a smaller level, a level of motivation are always here and there. That's why that makes you move. Right. That makes you make actions. But the things that I was thinking as a motivation is something that actually motivates me to do anything. But I guess that comes after, because you don't really get it in the very beginning. If you keep wanting it, I guess you're not gonna make any actions. But if you know, the motivation comes after. You just keep moving forward until you get it. I recently came across one thread post on the internet, and I think he's athlete or triathlete or Hyrox athlete or something. But he says, I hate running in the morning. I always regret running. And I always have less I do not have motivation. But then he wakes up. He wakes up in the morning, early. First thing to do is just wakes up, and he basically always battling if I shouldn't go for running and stuff. But he does it. He always wakes up, and then he goes outside. And then first kilometer, very first kilometer, he hates it. The breathing is heavy. And then the 2 kilometers point, he still hates it. He still regrets it. And then third is getting a little better, but he still hates it. And then fourth, he still hates it. But then the 5th kilometer, he thinks it was one of the best decisions in his life.
Nice.
And then after 5K running in the morning, because he runs 5K every morning, he always tells himself that waking up early and run is the best decision that he makes.
So motivation comes
after, especially after accomplishing something. Maybe the feeling of accomplishing. That gives you more motivation. Nice. But then next morning he goes back to the hesitation to wake up. But he does it anyway. He does it anyway because he knows the feeling. He knows the he knows the the sense of accomplishment, and that actually kind of gave me a lot of good reason to become more, more towards to make smaller actions. And I remember when we had a conversation with Konami, our previous guest, she says like a lot of people, like let's say like your goal is 100 steps away.
Yeah.
A lot of people try to do it very efficiently.
Yeah.
So they spend more time on how they want to do it, how they do it.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is take a step further, like we'll take a one step at a time, right? And then like once you take one step, you see a different view.
Yeah.
And then that view you can only see after you take a step forward, right? So all the dots are now connecting,
yes. Even in this podcast
in a podcast show. So I every morning or every time I feel like less motivated, I just do small things and see how it goes, like training too, like work too. And I recently went to the swimming pool, like a public swimming pool right beside my apartment. Man, I didn't want to do it, but once I started swimming,
you went crazy.
I was still like, it's the same story as the guy.
Of Helpus?
No, it was just as hard as I thought. But then after the training, I felt much better.
Nice.
And then I was very motivated to do it. So I'm just gonna do it tomorrow too. So
nice.
It's just all small stuff. It's all about taking a small step. Yeah.
And can I say something?
Yeah.
So I think now we understand the importance of that small step.
Yeah.
And as you said and I said, in order to take a step, you need a direction or the goal.
Yeah.
That's why we need to have like clear plan.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't have a clear goal. You don't know what mountain you want to climb.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very important. We want to decide which mountain we want to climb.
Right.
But I think it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, clear is better. More clear is better for sure.
Yeah.
But as long as you know the direction, let's say, you like music, for example, and you want to work something related to music, then your first step will be listening to 100 songs in a month, for example. And then put the effort, put the motivation there. You, from 100 songs, and now you kind of try to research the meaning of lyrics. One sentence you don't know, one word you don't know, and you go further, just doing research or talk to people, expert. And then that's another step. And using motivation after taking the action, right? So I think in Japan, generally speaking, many people were waiting to find 100% clear goal, but it doesn't have to be. You just decide the direction. Yeah, for example, you sign up Ironman. That's also direction, because by racing the Ironman, we don't know like who will be. But at least making effort towards something will make your life better. You become like more energetic person, and that's you want to pursue. That's the kind of direction. So I think goal can be anything. And once you have that kind of direction where you want to move, then you can take small steps, going to swimming pool or going to gym. And after going to gym, then you think about, okay, what
else we
can make a difference.
It's, I think a lot of people, especially like a lot of podcasts or a lot of successful people in the book or on the stage or something, but they have already said the same thing over and over again. I guess like it's I guess like some people think, it's too corny, or it's like it's too, I mean, it's not a big thing to say in the podcast. But I think the reason why we are saying this is because we are actually in the middle of experiencing
it.
Things. Because like we have no motivation. We didn't have any motivation to start something or anything that we were supposed to do. But we have to do it anyway, right? So that's why like we were trying to find a way to actually implement like our actions.
Yeah.
And I think we were talking about this in the very beginning of this year.
Yeah.
Our theme for 2026
Yeah.
for this podcast show
Yeah.
is 4 words. Do it
Anyway.
right? I do it, I do it anyway.
Yeah.
The 4 words. So it always come back to square one.
Yeah.
Just do it anyway first.
Do it anyway.
Yeah. And then see how it goes, right?
Yeah.
And then like I think after I start implementing those like small things, do it anyway thing, my mental instability is becoming more stable than like for the past few months. And the only thing I have to do is just keep doing this until I find something. I discover something like later on.
I think last year's we did misogi, right?
Yeah, misogi. Yeah,
that is exactly like what kind of goal you wanna achieve, what direction you wanna go. That's a kind of setting the piece. I felt. So last year we learned putting the goal and moving forward that direction. That's important. So we learned from last year, and then now, as you said, we are in the next phase. Okay, now we know the direction, the goal, like what mountain we want to climb, and then we this year do it anyway. Kind of implementing the actions, and put motivation after. So we'll see.
We'll see how it
end
goes
of this year,
and
how that's gonna go. And
it's a super basic thing. And then we basically just talk about our problems and experiences and based on our experiences. But it's quite important. Going back to basic, going back to the basic, just like we talked in the very beginning of this episode, the top athletes.
Very important. I think, yes, what we're talking about is super obvious and clear, straightforward. But it's very important to put in that words. We have to make it like how can I say? We have to gengoka. We have to, how can I say?
Verbalize.
Yes. So that we can talk, we can share. And yes, it's a clear findings, but if you start to share, and then you get that like different point of view or feedback.
That's true.
That kind of makes it more clear.
Also could be
for
your
next steps, and then
could be the reminder to yourself too.
Exactly.
I think actually like if you say in words, and then you actually those things can be your reminder as well. And then you after saying that, the only thing that you have to do is just keep doing. You have to be responsible.
That's the thing. Like these days, I'm doing a training occasionally, not like a super well planned or good quality or the time effort that I'm putting. And then sometimes I feel okay, I'm running end of the Ironman half end of November, and I promised to podcast listeners and everybody we're gonna break sub 5. Can we do it? And like I need to put more effort now. Like I start to feel that way, but it's also good reminder. Like kind of share this nervous, thinking.
If the goal is like big, like you can get scared.
So now I started to feel the pressure too. So I'm gonna get back to the work. I'm just saying.
Just saying. But that's a good reason to start something. Once again. So I guess I know it's a very basic thing that we just shared, but I think that's also quite important. If we have a feeling that we're stuck.
Yes.
So we are in the midst of experiencing the things. If you are actually in the same situation, go back to square one, or just do it anyway. Start with the small thing. Start with the small thing and see how it goes. Let's say towards the end of this month or end of this year, because life goes on, and you might have a great feeling after. You keep doing being consistent for doing few simple things. So thank you for listening to our podcast once again, as always, and then we'll be in touch
next episode.
We'll see you guys in a week, in a bit.
All right,
thank you.
3, 2, 1 slow starters.